Let's talk about that. What is the Flint Public Art Project?
The Flint Public Art Project, we work to activate vacant spaces, connect artists on a global, international, and an international scale. Our local art with our local artists, also bring large-scale local, national, international artists here in Flint to do different art projects here and make Flint a better place.
What do you mean by vacant spaces? You use vacant spaces for art installations.
For art installation. So for many years, we used to, a lot of people that know Chevy Commons, the park there, used to be called Chevy in the Hole and used to be the abandoned GM site. So there was a section of that between 2013 and 2017, before it became a park, that we used to use to throw a Free City festival, which was an outdoor festival, kind of almost a Burning Man style festival. We had different kind of performance art, installation art, and all different kinds of art happening there for a little festival for a weekend.
And this site that used to be a abandoned GM building,
GM factory, yeah.
You took that over?
We, at one weekend a year, we took that over and we created a festival there. The land bank managed the property, we just used the property, and now it's become a state park.
Fantastic. Why is art a powerful tool for changing society?
Well, it excites people. It when you see art and public art in places, it excites people. It gives the culture. It should show the culture of that area, and really highlight what the city's about. And I look at murals. When I look at a mural on a wall, it also amplifies the building it's on. So when you see a mural on a beautiful building, you really start to notice the beautiful architecture and what's beyond that mural.
And what do you see murals and different works that come in from outside, or works that are done by people here? What do you see on the faces of people that see that stuff? Like, how do you see it manifest?
So the story of the murals came to be as all these different organizations came here filming movies, capitalizing on the water crisis and the blight and the destruction. One of them, when they drove through the neighborhoods, they blurred out all the nice things in the city. So whenever they drove by a nice neighborhood, it would all be blurred out. Or they drove by a nice part of town, they angled the camera so when they looked at our downtown, it looked like it was almost vacant. And so, you get things at the right angle, they look different. And so conversation was like, well, how do we get people to look beyond the blight, right? And how do we, and the crime and everything else going here? And so we came up with the idea of putting up a bunch of murals. So the first year we put 100 murals up, working with all the different neighborhoods and neighborhood organizations. And then we started adding more and just keep adding more, moving out into the neighborhoods and throughout the city. And it does a lot. We did a really big transformation on this old liquor store that was abandoned right across from a park on Fleming Road. The neighborhood organization asked us, well, what can you do about this? She's like, can you cover it, do something, make it look better so our kids don't have to look at an old abandoned liquor store when they're playing at the park across the street? And it's like, okay, well, let's come up with a theme. And we came up with a theme and we got some artists and we covered it in murals. And the transformation just changed the energy in that place. You sit there at a park, and instead of looking at this abandoned liquor store that people are dumping in, you're looking at this beautiful piece of artwork. So it does bring change.
Oh my God, that sounds fantastic.
Thank you.
What a great thing to do for the city. And
Yeah.
it seems like Flint is a great canvas.
Yeah, it is. It's a wonderful canvas. And one of the things, I like working with all the neighborhoods. I work with all the different neighborhoods before we put the murals in to discuss what the murals are going to look like. Because my theory and our board's theory is we don't want to put something in the neighborhood that we're not going to see every day. You're going to see it every day. We want to give you what you want, not what we want. And so that's what we really work hard to do when we go into the neighborhood. So they're all curated very differently, and it's through those neighborhoods' tastes and preferences.
What is your background? Why did you, what you do is so unusual.
I know. Well, I have a bachelor's in theater design, master's in public administration and accounting, and another accounting. And so I have that administrative role. It was kind of, Flint Public Art Project kind of was interesting how it all came to be with me involved. So when this group came and they started building Flint Public Art Project, they were looking for a place to stay. And we had an extra rental house that we were in the middle of renovating. And they're like, well, you guys can stay here as long as you pay the utilities and this and that to get things figured out. Next thing you know, I became board member. A few years later, I became the executive director. So kind of by accident, I guess. I don't know, get right place at the right time. But, it's been a fun experience. It's a volunteer position. I don't get paid for what I do. All the artists stay at my house when they come and visit. And it's created a big network for a lot of the local artists that have worked with them. This last fall, we shot a movie here in Flint, and I'd say probably 70% of the cast and crew were Flint natives. They got to work with a bunch of people from LA and some decent, B-list actors. A lot of the mural artists here have worked with a lot of mural artists from around the world, learning new techniques, new skills, also making connections and start traveling and being invited to different festivals all around the world. So it's opened up a lot of doors for a lot of people.
So typically, when you're going to do a project, is it a collaboration with local artists from that community with outside artists?
Usually a collaboration with Flint artists or the neighborhoods. The neighborhood, we'll work with the neighborhood association or neighborhood block club or whatever it is and work with them and figure out the idea for the murals and the concept, and then they work with them to help select an artist to help bring that idea to life.
And are you involved at all with up and coming or
Oh yeah,
kids that are?
we do. We've done a few different mural workshops at the high school. We're also going to be starting a new workshop in April with the chamber and the schools to do like a graffiti club. So it's going to be a 6-week-long club where they can learn different things about doing murals and graffiti and stuff like that.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Did you come here with the intention of starting this, or
Not at all. When I moved to Flint because I met my partner and, moved up here and happily ever after kind of thing. So, it was like, when I first started here, I got a job at the My Brother's Keeper homeless shelter and then worked my way through different nonprofits. I also work in food systems. So last 4 years, I've worked on a research project studying the food system in Flint and how we can help increase access to healthy food and have a better food system here. So that's what I've been working on for the last 4 years in my day job. And Flint Public Art Project is my fun thing.
That's great.
But I love it because it's so neat when we get some of our artists here, then watching them grow and watching them develop and watching them move on to other stuff. And I don't know, just exciting watching this happen with a lot of different people.
I can imagine seeing kids or young people or anybody really that discovers art and starts painting with you guys, and it must be fantastic to see how it opens them up.
Yes, and it is. It's really nice and cool to see them not just painting and doing their work, but growing and creating a network and becoming successful to be able to do that for a living and not have to work a day job. Now, I've seen a lot of my artists figure out one day I'm going to figure it out, but not today.
Oh my God. I think about like in New York, you know, back in the 70s, people could walk down the street and say, oh, this is interesting, and it would be like a Basquiat.
Yeah.
Painted on a door, just kept going.
Yeah.
And, you know, of course that stuff doesn't exist anymore, but that's great.
It does exist, actually, because there is a lot of mural artists that while they're painting, they'll do art drops. And so they'll be in a city and they'll be like, okay, just put an art drop here. First person who finds it gets to keep it. And so there's a lot of mural artists and artists that do that still. So it's really fun to watch.
Fantastic. We sort of talked about this a little bit, but I'm going to ask you a question that's on here, which is, what benefit does your work bring to the community?
I think joy. A lot of people when you transform a building, especially when you transform a blighted building or a blighted area, and you put these murals on it, and everybody's like, well, what happens if it gets demolished, or what happens if someone buys the building and redoes it and doesn't leave the mural up? That's what we want. We want that change. I'd rather see the building redone and have to worry about redoing the mural somewhere else later than having that mural on the building for 20 years, because I want this to be a tool to help build up and inspire and bring up neighborhoods. And it has done that, and it gives a lot of community pride in your neighborhood with the people that do it. It's always fun to see. I enjoy that as much as I enjoy hanging out with the artists and watching the reactions.
Watching the people on the street.
Yeah, it's always fun. And there's been a lot of people coming for mural tours. So it's brought a lot of business into the city. And we're pretty well known around the world now for a great mural festival and mural organization. So
do you have a festival of murals?
Yes, we have one coming up in June this year.
When is that?
June 25th we'll start.
And what's it called?
Free City. And the focus on this one is going to be food systems. So
combining your daytime job?
Kind of combining them. Well, a lot of the results are coming out from the study of what an ideal food system would look like in Flint. And so the idea of putting these images on walls and also adding some sculpture elements to remind us of what our goals are. So it will remind us where we're at and where we need to be and where we want to go, and we know it's possible to get there.
So this opens up another dimension, right? Because it's art that is political in a way, or
it's advocacy. We'll use that. We don't want to use political because it's not really political, because political would mean it's advocating for a system change in the city of Flint, and that system change will help increase the life and better the life of the people in the city. So it's not trying to push an agenda, but it's also just showing a future of how we can become sustainable, how can we create our own food, we're going to have bee workshops, bee farming workshops there. We're going to have some gardening workshops there. We're also going to have art workshops there too. So people can learn how to do lettering, or they can learn how to do stencils. So there's going to be a few different workshops. There's also going to be a food summit going on that week also. So it's going to be an interesting event.
How many days will it be?
It'll be a week.
Sounds really amazing. So Flint, we said earlier that it's a good campus
Yeah.
It's in many ways a good canvas, right? Because you also have people that are perhaps hungry for something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, people, the people in Flint, and people don't really realize this. A lot of these neighborhood organizations, block clubs, they're doing so much good work in the city, cleaning up their neighborhoods, cleaning up abandoned buildings, stuff that they shouldn't have to be doing. And I feel sometimes that going in there and working with them and putting these murals in there is promoting what they're doing and gives them the feeling that someone actually sees what we're doing. And that's what I hope that they get out of that. It's like, I see what you're doing. I see the great work you're doing in your neighborhood, and I want to help you bring it up and help you add on, help you attract more people here to help invest in your neighborhood.
Are you working in all areas of Flint?
All areas in Flint.
North Flint?
North Flint, I mean, I've got them all the way up at the north end border and all the way at the south end border and east and west.
Oh my God, that's so great.
And everywhere in between. Huh?
Are there any around here?
Oh, yeah. Downtown, there's a lot downtown. They're all over. There's 217. So,
That's amazing. I really like also what you said about putting a mural on a building that hopefully to make it desirable for something else that people, even
Yeah.
if they tear it down.
well, and it might make someone notice the building. I mean, you go there and look at a mural on a building and you're like, well, wait a minute, what else could this building, If you're a person that's going and possibly thinking about investing, it's like, or let's say you're a person that is thinking about starting their own business and they decide to go on a mural tour and they say, well, this building's kind of nice. Now that I've looked at it, I've never noticed it. I drove by it 100 times, but now I noticed the building because I'm looking at it.
Are you yourself an artist, a painter, a muralist?
Writer. So 2019, we had Haunted Flint released a book, and then this year we're having Ghosts and Legends of Genesee and Lapeer County coming out. So, and then I've also got another book I'm working on.
So you're into like spooky things.
Yeah, I kind of I am, but the other one's not. The other one I'm working on is not spooky. So.
Very cool. So, moving forward, like, what's your vision for Greater Flint? What's your
I want to see other elements in public art realm. I want to see other elements of public art added on. Sculpture. I don't know, all kinds of different things that people just don't realize that's out there. I want to bring that to Flint. I want Flint to be innovative and cutting edge now like it used to be then. You hear all these people and you see all these things in the group about what Flint used to be. I want people to talk about the public art here of what, Flint's a trendsetter. Flint's doing this, Flint's doing that. And, and we had that with the Flint Institute of Art, Flint Institute of Music, here, Sloan Museum, all these great institutions here with great gallery art. And we have plenty of that. Let's do the same on public art. Let's come back at that.
Well, I do know that a lot of younger artists and this kind of thing, maybe a few years ago, this was really in the news about them moving to Detroit area.
Yeah.
Places that were, I don't know if abandoned is the right word, but places that used to thrive more and that they can get housing cheap and they can start like a pioneering kind of thing.
Right. And Flint's I see Flint being that. We have to put an infrastructure there for it. Where Detroit already had a lot of that infrastructure. It had art stores. It had studio spaces and had all this other stuff. We need some of that in Flint to get Flint to move to where artists are like, oh, well, I can go there, buy a house cheap. I can get all my supplies here, work in my studio, still travel, and Bishop's a great place to travel out of. And so it has everything we need. We just have to get that little infrastructure to get people to want, to know that they don't have to order everything online or don't have to drive an hour or two to get it. And so that will create that more desire. Because I get a lot of people asking about moving here. I have 3 artists, one from Miami, and one in New York, and the other one's in Texas, all 3 looking for houses in Flint right now.
Well,
So,
artists don't make a lot of money.
yeah.
And it's hard to live in any of those cities.
Yeah,
I
that
can
it
tell you, I
is.
live in one of them.
Right. Oh, I know. I mean, and the thing is, you have to produce a lot of work to live in those places. And so, and if you're established in that place, you can live somewhere else cheap and fly back there and still keep the work.
It's really something. That's great.
Yeah.
Do you ever cross over into the performance world as part of this?
Oh, yeah, we've done some. We've done performance art. At a couple of our different events, we've done all kinds of different things. I mean, we worked with a couple of elementaries with the Disney grant through them and helped them with a couple plays that they did. We've had outdoor performances at our festivals before. We're going to have them again, so.
You mentioned this a little earlier, but like, how does it make you feel when you see a place like this, Sloan, opening up? Or that
Oh, I'm
art?
excited. It was so exciting to walk in the door and,
We were both talking at the same time, so
yeah,
I'll
sorry.
finish. That's okay. But the Art Institute across the street, and I'm very struck by the amount of money the city's putting into culture.
oh, yeah.
So tell me, like, what you see and how does it make you feel?
It's exciting. I mean, like, when I walked into this building, it was like, oh my gosh, this is my first time here since it closed to remodel. It just kind of looking around, it was like, wow, this is going to be great. I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited that the city is willing to invest in art, and public art plays, especially like with the murals, plays a big role in helping attract more people here because not everybody feels comfortable in spaces like these. And because they may not have the education, they may not feel like they have the money to go into a place like this or whatever, And the public art, they get to look at art, learn about art all throughout from artists all over the world. We have 20 murals from 27 different countries here. People from 27 different countries, and they look at the art out there, and they start to develop an idea of what to look at in art, and then they feel better about coming into places like this, where it's more institutionalized, and you're not here on your own time whenever you want. So.
How art, for some people, I'm sure it feels like it's not really for them. It's
Right.
too
Well,
sophisticated or whatever.
a lot of, I mean, when you go into places like the FIA and Detroit Institute of Art, all these big art galleries and museums, art can be intimidated for somebody that's never looked at art and doesn't know a lot about art. And so people get intimidated because it's like, okay, well, this person asked me to go there with them. I don't really want to go because what if they ask my opinion? And it's like, I don't know. It's like going out and then you have murals where they're out in the public. You can sit in your car and look over any of these murals on your own time, by yourself if you want, and not have to worry about any of that. And so then it builds you up. So when you come to a space like this, you feel like you know a little bit more. Like you can talk a little bit more about it. So.
And it's more like an emotional thing, right, than an intellectual thing. It's about how it makes you feel.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that. It's,
You wouldn't mind, thank you.
yeah, art does. It's more about how does art make me feel? Do I like this piece? Does this piece make me happy? Does this piece make me sad? Does it remind me of my dead grandma or whatever it is? We gotta You just think of that kind of things, and it's beautiful.
It's amazing. Do you think art can change society?
Yeah, I mean, it has. I mean, everything is art, really. I mean, the chair that I'm sitting on is a form of art, so if it wasn't for art, we wouldn't have a lot of the modern technologies and stuff that we have now. So, art's always changed the world, and it's always documented the past.
Do you think it helps us understand each other?
I think so. I mean, we can look at stuff from the past and look at movies, look at pictures. We can look at all kinds of stuff that will help me learn about things. Writings, how people wrote then, how people write now. So we've already learned from art. Art is a form of history that teaches us the future.
That's great. I'm jealous of what you do for a living.
Huh?
I'm jealous of what you do for a living. Is there anything about the Flint Public Art Project or any stories of things that have happened or plans for things that are going to happen or anything that we didn't talk about that you'd like to say?
So this last year, or over the last few years, all the artists that come in, they stay at my house. And all the local artists that come and hang out at my house. So it's like the Grand Central Station over the summer, and I don't know how many nights we sit up on the porch in the middle of the night. And I have this one artist that was working a day job, took his vacation in 2019, a local artist, came up here, painted, made friends, made this network. And I remember us sitting on the porch, and he's like with a lady there from Tulum, Mexico. And they were talking. She's like, oh, yeah, you should come down to Tulum one time, come down to Mexico and paint. It's fun, this and that. He's like, oh, man, that's my dream and my goal one day. And I've watched over the last 3 years how this artist had developed from being technically a good artist, needed that little guidance, and then has worked with some of our local and some of the visiting artists to build himself up. So last January, me and 3 of our other artists went down to a festival, got invited down to a festival down in Acapulco, Mexico. And he was one of the ones that got to paint in Mexico. So it's like, there's that transition. So it was really neat all 3 of these artists, this is their first international festival. There's over 100 artists at this festival. It was a really, truly great experience for all 3 of them. I was glad I was there to be able to watch it all and help out.
That's fantastic. It seems like you have, in this city, it seems like you have a lot of room to create stuff.
Oh, yeah. Me? What do you mean?
Physical space. It seems like there's a lot of open space here
Oh, there
to
is.
do stuff.
The problem, there's a lot of open space. The problem is there's not a lot of closed space. So it's like, there's so much more we could add on if we had our inside space also. So in the future, that's one thing I'd like to get. Is an inside space for Flint Public Art Project. So when we have these visiting artists, we can say, hey, can you bring X amount of stuff with you and we'll do a show with some of our local artists and have a small exhibit going on and, some impromptu. Then there's a lot of need for indoor space for our local artists. Studio space, large studio spaces to be able to paint and to work in and do all this other stuff for a cheap rental, Those aren't really available. So there's a lot of the inside, there's a lot of space outside to grow on a canvas and do stuff, but the inside where things need to be created, there's still limited space.
So that's a nice goal, maybe
Yeah.
to have a building.
Yeah, that's what we're working towards.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
And then your house wouldn't have to house 40 artists at a time.
I'd still want them
That'd
there.
be fun.
I'd still want them there. I mean, it's great. They call me Papa Joe. Because I mean, I'm old enough to be all their father, so majority of them.